Back with us on the SportsMax Zone. Manchester United began life after Ole with a 2-0 victory over Villarreal to confirm their place in the knockout phase of the UEFA Champions League. It was Michael Carrick's first game as a caretaker boss, and we have highlights.
You can definitely see why Villarreal are sitting mid-table in La Liga. Here's a chance.
It could be an opportunity here, and it's sent over the goalkeeper's head and into the back of the net, and Manchester United have the lead, and once again it's Cristiano Ronaldo.
I think he plays it on the right side of Capoue, but Capoue makes a real mess of it. Fred gets tight and it falls nicely, and because the ball was in the air, it enabled Ronaldo just to lift it over Rulli, who was caught in no man's land. Capoue's been excellent, I think, throughout the game, but just got caught there by Fred.
Here's Voigt. Nice touch there from Ronaldo, and sent forward by McTominay, and now into Marcus Rashford. Pau Torres goes alongside him, ball whipped in. Fernandes collected by Jadon Sancho, who scores his first goal for Manchester United.
Sliced into that top corner by Sancho. Confidence has come flooding back in the last 20 minutes.
Yes, hasn't it just? That's the first time Sancho has scored since the German Cup final for Dortmund against RB Leipzig last season. With Manchester United knocking on the door, looking for a third. Header away by Albiol, and that will do it. And Manchester United provided the perfect response, given the troubles and the difficulties that they're in and facing.
Yeah, so Manchester United getting the job done there. 2-0 at Villarreal. It was a good performance, Mariah. You agree?
Yeah, it was a good performance, saved in the nick of time, because we have to agree that coming into this match you were a bit nervous to see what Michael Carrick would have gotten out of the team. All
right, well, let's see if our expert online agrees with your assessment. Simon Evans is joining us. Simon, the game was a bit of a strange affair at times. Villarreal, you'd expect a home team to be high octane or higher octane, given that they needed a result, but they were rather stayed for much of that first half. Did step on the gas in the second half to lift the tempo, but overall I was expecting a greater threat from Villarreal than they showed over the course of the 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think they were a little bit more ambitious and positive at Old Trafford actually in the earlier game. They were a little bit subdued. United were all over the place at the start. I mean, it was, carry on where you left off. There was no sudden change about United's approach in the first half. But the second half, they stuck at it a lot better. They looked a little bit better in their shape. And then the substitutions that Carrick made around the hour mark, bringing on Bruno Fernandes and livening up the attack a little bit, did make a difference. But ultimately, it was that defensive error that Ronaldo took advantage of that settled it, really.
Yeah, talk a little bit about Jadon Sancho, because the TV feed that we were watching, Stuart Robson on colour analyst duties was saying that he really has had a rocky start and has not been good since he's joined Manchester United from Borussia Dortmund. But given the fact that he's been played a bit here, a bit there, not quite gotten a run in the team, that would have affected his start. What's your assessment of how Sancho acquitted himself over the 90 minutes today?
Yeah, really good. I thought he did a lot of good work off the ball as well, which I know is something they've been working on with him, because it's been one of the criticisms of this United team that the wide players, all of them really, haven't been doing enough to get back and help out the full-backs or the midfield players. I thought he did that really, really well tonight. But to be honest, the appearances he's made, whether he's been starting or coming off the bench over the last month or so, even while the team has been in terrible form, he has shown some bright touches. He's been confident enough to take the ball at players, make those runs that we know he can make from having seen him play for Dortmund in the Bundesliga, and he's been gradually stepping it up, I think. But tonight was a big step forward for him. I'm really pleased for him, actually.
Yes, Simon, and Carrick's decision to start Donny van de Beek, his first start in 4 months. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with him again. He looked a little bit lost. I mean, people keep saying he's playing the wrong sort of midfield position, but we've seen him, in these different... And again, he's another one who's had to stop and start, to be fair to him. We're not a regular run of games. But he hasn't earned a regular run of games either, and he still looks a player who's... I'm not sure exactly what his role is in that Manchester United team. People say he's a box-to-box midfielder, but he doesn't seem to get involved in the game enough.
Yeah, and you know, during the match there were reports coming out that Ernesto Valverde tipped for the job. Does he fit?
He's tipped for the job as the next interim, as we were talking about the other night. Marco Carrick is the pre-interim coach. So they're talking about if they can't get Pochettino or somebody else permanently, they would have somebody to the end of the season. And he's seen as somebody, according to the reports, who'd be willing to do that, not be looking for the job on a full-time basis, but be an experienced manager who could come in and guide the team to the end of the season. It's reports. We're getting lots of different reports at the moment. Some are saying Pochettino's ready to leave PSG next week. Some are saying he's not wanting to leave at all. So, you know, we'll see what develops in the coming days.
Yeah. Let's look at the Group F situation now, Simon, because there was a 6-goal thriller in Switzerland. Young Boys and Atalanta in a game really good, 3-3 in that game. Both teams, though, find themselves in particular difficulties. Young Boys at the bottom of the table. They were trying to get into that Europa League spot, but they've fallen short of that at the bottom of the table with 4 points. Atalanta and Villarreal have different things. So Man United play Young Boys on the final day, and then Villarreal and Atalanta clash in a one game for everything sort of showdown. Who's in the better frame of mind going into that game, you'd say, Simon?
Yeah, I think if you'd have said to Atalanta at the start of the whole group, looking at that group, that if you win your last game against Villarreal, you'll go through to the knockout stage of the Champions League, they'd probably have taken it. They really are a never-say-die team. You know, they throw away a big lead there, and then right at the end, 3-2 down, they come back and get a 3-3 draw. You know, they're just such a likeable team, Atalanta, aren't they? They play, you know, quite positive football, full of energy. And they never ever give up. We've seen it time and time again with them. But some spectacular goals from Young Boys tonight as well. You know, they showed. You know, they've been good value, haven't they, in the Champions League? You know, for a team that no one really expected anything from. Young Boys of Bern, but they've come in and really given a good account of themselves. And you know, you see them coming back here into the game. And they were positive. They attacked and they went for the result. But in the end, a free kick was what decided it.
Yep. All right. So let's go look now at highlights of the clash between Barcelona and Benfica. Xavi Hernandez, his first game in charge of Barcelona in a Champions League game.
And off we go then. And now Busquets. Space for Nico. And a decent effort from Yusuf Demir. Everton lost possession, and Barcelona are straight at them. And it's an opportunity that should have been taken by Araujo, perhaps. He certainly should have hit the target. Everton with it again. Balloon to the far, but I think that might have gone out before it came back in. The flag has stayed down, and it's driven in. No, it's not going to count. It did bend out. That's what I thought initially. It's not going to count. There it comes back in. Poor defending, mind you, by Barca. Hands raised, didn't play to the whistle. Brilliant finish. Cracked it home. Just outside the penalty area. Yusuf Demir went down, and Benfica come on the attack. Otamendi and Nunez. Coach, that's for sure, in this most political of clubs. And belly up through the gears. That's a lovely cross back in the middle. Great save. De Jong arrived. Perfect run, well timed. Silva, so they do have opportunities here on the counter, but meanwhile it's Barcelona. 8 minutes to go. Dembele against Lazaro, gets the cross in, dangerous, and headed up and over his own bar by Gilberto Moraes, who look for the winner. They've got an overload here. It's 2-on-1. Nunez, Seferovic is to his left-hand side. Seferovic could knock Barcelona out effectively here. Seferovic, oh my goodness me! One of the worst misses of his entire career. One for debate. Frantic stuff here. But no more time for Barcelona. Their fate is out of their hands. They stay above Benfica in the table.
What a miss. OMG, Bayern dominating this group. We're coming to them in a bit. They have 15 points at the top of the selection. Barca in second spot. They're holding on to that other qualifying spot from the group. Benfica 2 points behind Dinamo Kiev out of the running. So Benfica are in that Europa League spot. They'll think, they want to think like they can still pinch a spot to qualify from the group, but they've given themselves a lot to do. Simon, that miss from Seferovic late in that contest reminded me of a miss for Napoli. I think it was not Dries Mertens, Insigne, in Serie A on the weekend. I can't believe that he missed that, Simon Evans. Talk to me about this.
No, I mean he's gone to chip it over the keeper, which he's done. He sees the keeper coming out and looks at him there, and then, yeah, it's a nice little dink over the top. Takes a little hit off the keeper, but then that's yeah.
No.
Yeah, what can you say?
What can you say? All right.
That would have put them above Barcelona in the group.
Absolutely. So from the ridiculous now, Simon, to the sublime, and I'm talking about Robert Lewandowski's goal for Bayern Munich in the ice over there in the Ukraine against Dinamo Kiev. We have that goal just to show you that I think that's the only highlight we have from the game, and we don't mind. That's the one that we want. But that Lewandowski, his 82nd goal in the Champions League overall, Simon. His 9th goal this season in the competition. He's by far and away the leading scorer. Ronaldo has 6 overall. This Polish wonder just keeps on producing the goods.
Fantastic, yeah. And they always look better to me. They're like real European goals when it's an orange ball and there's a bit of snow on the ground as well. But fantastic technique. He puts the ball in the net from anywhere in the penalty area, can't he? Really, he's an extraordinary finisher. Really one of the all-time great European goal scorers, I think. And can Bayern give him enough opportunities in this tournament as it progresses to really make a difference? Because when he gets the opportunities, he puts them away. Yeah,
and if you look at what they've done in the group, Bayern Munich, they've scored 19 goals in this Group E, far and away the most prolific team in the entire group stage of the Champions League to this point. But when you look at some of their results on the domestic scene, they had a bad result when they were dumped up, as we say in Jamaica, 5-0 beaten in one of the cup competitions. They lost in the league on the weekend to a relegation candidate. You see things that suggest that perhaps it is that Julian Nagelsmann doesn't have them flying quite as high and as steady as you would expect. But when you look at their Champions League numbers, you have to believe that they are one of the teams to beat in this competition if another team is going to win the title.
They absolutely are, and people say about Bayern that every year they sort of time themselves to be ready for when the Champions League knockout stage comes around. Now, whether that affects their domestic form a little bit in October and November when they're looking to peak in February, I don't know. Maybe that's reading too much into it sometimes. But there is fragility there in that Bayern side, and it's been exposed in the Bundesliga. But they absolutely are one of the favourites to win the tournament this year. I think, Chelsea, we'll talk about later, have shown that they're not going to give up their title very easily, and there's a lot of good teams in this tournament, but Bayern are absolutely one of them.
All right, stay where you are, Simon. I'm going to take a quick break. We come right back and talk more UEFA Champions League match day action to discuss after these. Polish technical brilliance for a German team, and then English excellence for an English team. The Champions League had it all on this first section of the match day. Callum Hudson-Odoi wheeling away to celebrate for Chelsea, one of 3 Englishmen to score for Thomas Tuchel's team on the day. So Bayern beating Dinamo Kiev, 0-0 between Benfica and Barcelona. Manchester United getting the job done in Spain. 6 goals shared equally between Young Boys and Atalanta in Switzerland. Wolfsburg falling short in Spain, beaten by Sevilla. Lille beating Salzburg 1-0 in France. Chelsea dominating Juventus in that 4-0 result. and Malmo and Zenit St. Petersburg in a 1-1 affair. Zenit missing a penalty. Artem Zuba, the man fluffing his lines from 12 yards. That penalty would have been the difference in the game. His team would have won. All right, let's go to Stamford Bridge. Juventus absolutely gave Chelsea a roasting when these teams met early in the group stages. What happened when they met in the return leg?
So here's the next step towards Juventus' holy grail, the trophy that Ronaldo couldn't help them deliver. Ziyech with his latest corner, chested down, and Chalobah fires it in. Another wonderful moment in a fantastic season of first-team football for Trevor Chalobah.
We'll soon see whether or not, in amongst all that activity, whether somebody was pushed. It looked like Bonucci, who goes down towards the near post. That's nowhere near the ball. Does that hit a Rudiger arm? Potentially, maybe. Plenty for the VAR officials to have a look at. Bonucci there goes down under pressure from Jorginho. It looks like it hits Rudiger on the side of the arm. Does he know that much about it? I would say no, he doesn't. One thing we do know, it's a lovely strike.
Clip back over the top, could be an immediate response, turned towards goal, and brilliantly cleared by Thiago Silva. Morata, for all the world, would have thought that he'd scored there, getting it over Mendy. Then Chilwell. Ziyech was his target. This is James. Time for a touch. Great second touch.
Wow.
2-0 Chelsea.
But you know, nothing seems to faze Reece James. I haven't seen a more focused young player playing in the Champions League or the Premier League for a long time than this kid. Because as soon as that ball was flicked on by Bonucci and he takes that on his chest, could have hit it first time, did the right thing, settle it down. How about that? That is just raw.
Chiesa trying to put his foot in. Jorginho prevented that from happening. Rudiger urged to shoot, thinks better of it. He's found James instead. Nice layoff. Ziyech. Loftus-Cheek trying to sort his feet out, and he sets up Hudson-Odoi for a picture-book third goal.
And Chelsea are absolutely flying, and Stamford Bridge is really rocking at the moment.
James dealing with Keane and sending a peach of a ball forward. 3 away, Matt. Timo Werner's the man that touches it over the line.
It's tight, but I hope for his sake it's going to stand. Great ball from Ziyech, that is. Stabbed home, 4-0, thank you very much. And it's been a fabulous night for everybody at Stamford Bridge.
Juventus made to look second-rate in London by a rampant Chelsea team. Both, though, have 12 points, both through to the next phase from this game. And so the Italians will not feel too put out that they had their noses blooded by Thomas Tuchel's team. Zenit will qualify for the Europa League, it seems. Malmo adrift at the bottom of the group. So, Simon, I want to start here. The fact is that we had let me start with Trevor Chalobah, one of 3 Englishmen to score for Chelsea in a Champions League. Never before in the Abramovich era has this happened, and I think only Manchester United was the last English club that had 3 goals in a Champions League game scored by Englishmen. That's how dominant the foreigners have been in the best English teams. But Trevor Chalobah, not so long ago, Simon, was playing in the 3rd tier of English football, and he's only young, but still a career that has meandered and looked at one point as if it wouldn't amount to much. And he finds himself in a team at Chelsea, at Stamford Bridge, scoring in a Champions League game against Juventus. How about that for a story?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to see at Chelsea these young players coming through, because for years Chelsea has had a great academy. And there's been a lot of criticism of Chelsea for not giving the products of their academy an opportunity, loaning them out all around the country and all around the continent as well. And now we're starting to see these players really come through. And Reece James tonight was absolutely fantastic. I mean, that goal, the chest control for that goal to create the space away from the defender for the shot was superb technique. But yeah, Chalobah, it's good to see him coming in. And Tuchel seems to have found a way to bring players into the side. We've seen players who've been either forgotten or haven't been given an opportunity come in and look comfortable right away. And I think that's a really good sign of a good coach that's created that kind of environment where kids can come in and not feel overawed, but not feel under massive pressure, and go out and play and show their talents, which is what Chalobah's doing.
Yeah, a quick one more. Well, some more on Reece James. I remember a couple of seasons ago, before he broke through, I was listening to a podcast with Pat Nevin, the ex-Chelsea footballer, who was raving about this Reece James. And I was like, what the hell is this kid? And he was saying that he hasn't seen a player with the technical quality of Reece James and the way he delivers the football since one David Beckham, who played for Manchester United, as you know, and other elite clubs. But he was raving about this kid. Defensively, he was sound, he said. Going forward, he was an asset. Does Reece James strike you as a youngster with the mentality to cause Gareth Southgate, his England manager, to forget Kieran Trippier, to forget Trent Alexander-Arnold, and play him on the right side of defence, given his quality as a specialist defender on the right flank and his versatility on that right side?
I think at the moment he's ahead of those two. I mean, there's Kyle Walker as well, don't forget, and I think Kyle Walker's possibly the best there is in that position. But Kyle Walker's not getting any younger, and I think Reece James is looking like somebody who could be England's right back for the next decade. I mean, he really is outstanding. I think his forward play, I mean, that chest control there is absolute genius. I mean, it's just perfect, because if he chests it like a lot of people would do straight in front of him, the defender gets there, he goes to that side and then puts the shot in the other way. It's superb. And we see him doing it week in, week out now, either scoring goals or creating them. But the defensive side of his game was Southgate's worry, and I think he's really improved on that this season. We haven't seen him getting caught out like we did a few times a year or two ago. So he's improving, he's getting better, he's strong, he's fast, but technically he's got everything. And the thing I think that Nevin was talking about there was probably the speed with which he delivers and gets the ball out from his feet. You know, he gets the ball in a tight space out right, and he can whip in that cross, which is what Beckham could do, and that is a Beckham-esque kind of goal, isn't it? Because
yes,
we've seen Beckham score those where he drilled it across the angle like that. That's just superb technique.
Yeah, and Simon, I think what has stood out for me with Thomas Tuchel is the manner in which he's able to navigate through injuries and make his team still, get through the round in a winning fashion. Today we saw him lose N'Golo Kante in the first half, and then Ben Chilwell in the second half. Can he continue, leading the team in a winning manner with the loss of these players?
I think there isn't a better coach in the game at exactly what you're talking about, Mariah, which is using all of his squad. But not just when they've got injuries. He rotates so regularly that when he does have an injury, it's not like they're coming in from the cold. So he's giving players opportunities all the time. They're coming in. Even players who were forgotten, like Ross Barkley, who people expected to leave Chelsea. He's played and started games in the Premier League this season. He keeps everything fresh, but he still manages to keep that shape and that system and that style of play that he's established, which never changes from game to game and never changes regardless of his starting 11. He played Pulisic down the middle as a false nine tonight, and it worked fine enough. They've beaten Juventus 4-0, so I'm really impressed with what Tuchel's doing at Chelsea.
Yeah, when Timo Werner scores, that Chelsea really are clicking when they get circled. A situation that he can't miss. Let's look at the Group G standings before we go out. So this is what it looks like in Group G. Lille lead proceedings with 8 points. Salzburg 7. Look, this group is incredibly tight. A point between everybody in ascending order and descending order. Lille, Salzburg, Sevilla, and Wolfsburg. Everything to play for on the last day in this group, because there are a range of possibilities for each team. Well, for sure, Lille could end up third on the day if certain results go right. So yeah, there's everything to aim for. Simon, that's the time we have with you today. We certainly enjoyed the offerings, and we look forward to City and PSG as the big game on Wednesday's offering, and we'll talk to you again.
All right, all the best. Cheers.
Excellent. Simon Evans, our man in the UK there, our European football expert. Simon giving his wisdom and counsel on the action we saw today. Barca fluffing their lines, no goals at the Nou Camp, lucky to escape with a 0-0 draw. Manchester United winning on the road. Chelsea thumping Juventus in London. And CR7, goal number 140. 140 for the man they say is too old